Internet, what is really good, you know what it is. It's the one and the only the triple the G.O.D. And welcome back to another episode of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And today we're going to take a nice little classroom second and talk about the historical significance of Mai Shiranui in Dead or Alive 5 last round, because you may sit up here and think that there is no historical context, that this means nothing, that it isn't important when you think about it from hell, the only dimension you should think about it is very important. Because I'm going to say this before we get to the business. I'm like, when the trailers came out for that information and for the Attack on Titan crossover costume DLC or whatever, is that I misunderstood what I was looking at before I watched it, because I just saw it's a picture of Mom. I'm just like, well, it would make sense that the costumes come out in September. King of Fighters 14 come out August the 23rd, so it makes perfect sense around that same time to like get some crossover costumes together and do all of that stuff. But when I watched the trailer and realized what it was I was watching, I was like instantly floored. And here is exactly why. In 1992, when that wind pose of that fan and those boobs, which changed video games in a way that is still felt as a reverberating essence even right now, if it wasn't for a character like Mai Shiranui, you probably wouldn't have games like Dead or Alive. You wouldn't. Those games would not exist at all. They would not. And I just needed to say that out loud for people to hear, because what's gonna happen, because this is Saturday morning and not a lot of people are paying attention to the big giant tournament where this information is coming from, but when more people start realizing what the hell is going on, is that the historical significance of why this is important will be utterly lost in the shuffle. It will be. It will be lost in the shuffle, and I just needed to just get up this morning, and I just needed to say this, because it's going to make me feel better as I say this, because I know that I am doing my job when I say this is very important. This is an historic event. Like, I don't need you to like put this on like a pedestal or whatever, like the greatest things that have ever happened in video games ever. No. But I need you to understand that Mai Shiranui, and we have talked about this before in length and in general, that how important of an artistic statement that a simple fan and some bouncing boos completely changed how video games work and how you can approach them with how you decide to view your artistic vision around what you wish to present to people. Like, we could turn this into a conversation about how everything is being censored, but this is not the conversation, the time, or the place for that. But I just need the internet to understand why this is important from a historical fighting game standpoint, from a gaming artistic standpoint, from Mai Shiranui is going to be in Dead or Alive 5 as a playable character standpoint. That is it, and that is all I need you to understand about that. That's all I need you to understand. It's very important that you understand that information. And now that I have done that, I feel better. This wasn't going to be no hour video of me going on and droning about this shit. I need the internet to understand that this is an historical event, this importance of why an event like this should be celebrated, not only for the fan service, no duh, but for the historic reasons of the character, of a reason why fighting game franchises can exist the way they do is going to be in the game crossing over with it. And also stating the no duh, this isn't my first trip to 3D land. She's been there a couple of times. She was there in Fatal Fury, Wild Ambition, and of course the King of Fighters Maximum Impact, which at some point we're going to have to get to, because I have to teach her how to play a whole bunch of KOF games, but another subject. So, that's it, that's all. If you haven't watched the trailer, please do so. It's like 30 seconds, and you'll get your fan service from that. The the Mai comes out, and also there are supposed to be crossover costumes. I saw a picture that had, let me see who was on that picture, because I think I might have, it might still be in my history. Give me a second, see if I can pull this over quick before we get the hell out of here. Who was on this picture? Yuri, Hanako, and Kasumi. So that makes me wonder, is Kasumi going to be Kasumi? I highly doubt this. The question is who's going to be Kula? Because I need to know that information. That will end up either being Marie Rose. That will end up probably more like it not Kula. Kula will be Marie Rose. I'm calling that right now. I'm calling my shot. I'm Beirut in that. I'm like, I'm interested to see who is going to be who. I am very interested. It's like I'm looking at these three. I'm looking at the picture right now. It's like Hitomi's gonna be Yuri. That's already a no duh. More likely, the character who gets stuck with Hanako is probably going to be Mila, because that makes sense, because Mila's whole Muay Thai thing or MMA or whatever it is that she do. Because who cares about Mila? Nah, I don't want to say that. But more likely than not, she is going to get the Hanako costume. It's like, I just thought about this. Tina might be Angel. I just thought about that. Tina might be Angel, so that should be interesting. Somebody's going to be Angel. If it isn't Tina, it'll more like, you know what? I take that back. Because of what I know, Tina's going to get a Shermie costume, and Honkers is going to get the Angel costume. That makes sense. Let me see. Let me think about other female characters. At the same time, when I talked about Marie Rose, she might get an Athena costume, but you might. I'm like, because given, let me see, think of characters in KOF, females and stuff. Athena, yeah, you know what, Marie Rose, probably. Man, I am drawing a complete blank here. Like, let me see. You might get at you know what? Lei Fang will get the Athena costume. I'm calling that too. Because they both, the whole China thing, but even though Athena's Japanese born, but the whole Chinese Psycho Soldier thing. But look, costumes come out in September. I will of course have all the DLC information on the cool or whatever when these things come out. If more information comes out about them and it's a new trailer that showcases this, I will have that set first. So I will do that. So, yeah, Mai Shiranui is in Dead or Alive 5 last round, and it's a very historical event. Now, here's the one question I am going to pose now that I think about it before I end this video. Will we ever get the real Hazuki thing? Because that was one of the first crossover things that Hayashi ever said that might happen after the Virtual Fighter characters came in. That real Hazuki, that they were thinking about that, and with the whole Shenmue 3 Kickstarter, that is probably a future possibility, but given how long that game is going to come out, I don't really think that, I don't know how long Dead or Alive 5 is going to continue being a thing. It's making money hand over fist, and you don't have to make a Dead or Alive 6 this soon, and you imported all that stuff to PS4 and the Xbox, even though the Steam version is like the PS3 and 360 version, but no one should be playing those anymore. So I don't know. It's like Dead or Alive 5 has probably been one of the most interesting fighting games to watch during this whole evolution from vanilla to right now, because especially when they start, it's like when they introduced the Virtual Fighter characters, it was a wrap then. Because who knows if we get in the Virtual Fighter 6? Because I've said this before, who you got left to make it? So, it's interesting to see those characters live in a game that people play. So, but you should be playing Virtual Fighter 5 anyway. And Sega needs to release a real version of Final Showdown. And also versions of Final Tune. Because, I need to play that. Like an actual arcade perfect version of Part 1 and Virtual Fighter 3 TB. But, Sega's not going to do anything like that. So, I don't know. Look, I'm all talked out. This was supposed to be done like 7 minutes ago, and then we got talking about costumes and stuff. Mai's in Dead or Alive 5 last round, historical, boob, Nippon cheese, stuff like that. This is going to be interesting. So just wait for the trailer and wait for her emotion, because she's gonna have that bounce, son. She's the one that sat up her and put the idea in Igaki's head that Dead or Alive 1 to have a switch to turn titties on off, because you should go play Dead or Alive 1 and go play with the bouncer thing. You should see how far boob physics has come since 1996 in Dead or Alive 1. That is something interesting. Maybe one day when I get around to taking a look at Dead or Alive, we might talk about that. But that all. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go watch a trailer. Go do something. It's Saturday. It's SGDQ still happening. Go donate some money to, Doctors Without Borders. Just go do something. Just be done with me and done with this video and historic purposes and blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm the one and the only, the triple the G.O.D. It's another episode of Triple the Guy Speaks On It. With that, I'll holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.